Let's go live. Let's go, people. And to all the fathers that's watching this video, happy Father's Day to you. This is today's date is June 18th. So happy Father's Day to the real fathers out there who are doing what they want, doing what they have to do. And you are the real MVPs who are taking care of your child or children, whether it's financially, mentally, and emotionally. I hope that it's all of the above. So happy Father's Day to you. Now, let's get into the topic. After you make sure you are subscribed to my channel, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button real quick. And then next to the subscribe button, hit that bell notification button so you will get notified whenever I am live. Also, drop in, say hello, drop your city and or state, or do all three of the above. So I'm reading and researching today, and I'm looking at some statistics, and I just listened to a live stream by Papa Duck, and I'm listening to Dr. T on Papa Duck, and she brought out some very profound things, and she's very much on point with her information. So yeah, you definitely should watch her latest live stream that just dropped on Papa Duck channel as well, in my opinion. But in looking and reading some of the things that she shared on her live stream on that platform, on that channel, I always go back and research for myself, which she does encourage everyone to do, and which I encourage everyone to do on my channel as well, to go research and fact check everything for yourself. Now, this was released May 23rd, right? Just last month. Prepare for the next pandemic. Future pathogens with even deadlier potential than C-19. This is WHO is the World Economic, well, not the World Economic Forum, but the form of the World Health Organization urged countries across the globe to prepare for a next pandemic. And you know what? If they are suggesting you prepare, as she brought out on her live stream, that means it is already planned. It is already planned, right? They're already giving out new jabs to people, and encouraging them to take the new jabs. And so they're saying the World Health Economic or World Health Organization urges countries across the globe to prepare for the next pandemic, warning that the future health emergencies could be even worse than the C-19. WHO Director General warning comes week after the group officially ended the C-19 global health emergency. So during a meeting with the World Health Organization, this was out of Switzerland, the C-19 threat may not be the only one that we encounter. The threat of another variant emerging that causes new surges of disease and death remains. Another pathogen emerging with even deadlier potential remains, and more than 6.9 million people globally have, as this is reporting, right, have died of C-19, according to WHO. And it's basically everyone on the planet needs to be better protected. So they're saying, get some more of the juice. I'm not going to get into that. If you follow me for any amount of time, you know my beliefs on that. However, ongoing said we cannot kick this down the road. He said if we do not make changes that must be made, and who will? And if we do not make them now, then when? And when the next pandemic comes knocking. And this not say if. They're not say if. That's very interesting. It says when. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you, because this is the easiest way to cause a global financial system reset, a global financial system crash that all parties globally and worldwide will have to be a part of, so that the agenda of a new currency system will happen and take place. The very first wave of that has already happened through C-19. We already see July with the Fed now technology to back up what's called the CBDC, the central bank's digital dollar, as we are transforming from a physical cash system, right, from physical cash to digital cash is coming. And the C19 has already laid the foundation and put things in preparation, right? And so, people, this is a time where your eyes need to be wide open, where you need to know what's going on now more than ever. Because again, I'm looking at the article today that the Black versus white health gap and over 50 years remains unchanged. Let me say that again. The Black-white disparities, the wealth gap between the Black and white communities, families, races has remained unchanged in under 50 years. And I'm going to address my personal thoughts on why that is so, right? But let's again see where we are headed and what's going to happen so you can position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer that this generation has ever experienced. So if you are of the Black and brown community, then you can make that change and shift right now with the economic disparity that again has been unchanged in over 50 years. So now this is an article just released June 13th, right? The Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, says to expect a gradual decline in the dollar share of global reserve. So she said, but the greenback will remain dominant. But guess who is going to remain dominant for? What countries? The dollar will remain dominant as most countries have no alternative. So the more poorer countries that have no alternative, that will not release a central bank's digital currency like these other countries are preparing, those will be the countries that will keep the dollar dominance and keep it global. Now, if that doesn't bother you, I don't know how to position you for this wealth transfer. If seeing this article, if hearing that, right, and seeing that in black and white, that the only countries that's going to continue operate with the cash system of the United States dollar are the ones that have no alternative. And this is the thing, right? Many people are not preparing for generational wealth transfer. They're not preparing for transfer of wealth for tomorrow, now less generationally, right? Now less generationally. And so this is the difference between the poor working class, the middle class, and the rich and wealthy. The poor working class, they plan for nothing but Saturday nights and the weekends, right? They plan for nothing. Their philosophy about money is money should be earned through labor, through a job, hard work, and that money should be spent. That's the poor working class philosophy. Money should be spent, right? A dollar earned is a dollar that should be spent. I deserve to go out on the weekend and party and socialize, right? Now, the middle class philosophy about money is I'm going to manage my money to make sure I'm not in the negative or I have insufficient fund fees. And I'm going to keep and maintain a good credit profile so that I can purchase things that are non-income producing for me, like a house and vehicles and student loans. This is the middle class that believes that college education, that certificate is worth the thousands, right? But through research, through information, it has proven that very little people that graduate with college degrees become high income earners. Very little, right? You have your specialists like doctors, lawyers, engineers, right? People in those perspective field and higher education. Or if you have a higher position in public education, then you may breach or touch that six-figure income status. But very little people, right, unless you're doing vocational education, which has almost gone away, whether you're a plumber or electrician, really reach even six figures with a college education, but they get at least six figures in debt or 5 figures in debt through student loans. So this is what the middle class look like. They don't leverage their credit to get income producing assets. They leverage their credit to get high loan approval for things like a vehicle, student loans, or a house that takes the bulk of their income away. Now, this is the philosophy of the rich and wealthy. They believe that, yes, they may have to start earning money through their labor, but then they position and they shift their money to work harder for them than they work for the money. The rich and wealthy understand terminology such as passive income, residual income, right? They understand they're putting their money to work. The rich and wealthy do not depend on a 401k that's going to crash and become a 201k, especially through when this depression, when this economic reset happened. And I was having a conversation with a friend guy today, earlier this morning, and he and I was wishing him happy Father's Day. He and I was talking, and he's also ex-military. And he said, well, you don't think that this may be prevented, that they're actually going to bring in a depression? I said, no, this won't be prevented. Because if you study the history of economic recessions and depression, it happens like clockwork every 10 to 15 years. Every time there's a progression in the economic status, it's always going to be a recession. If you study the history of that, it happens like clockwork. So why would they change it now? And to my religious people, a savior has not come back at any time of economic recessions, because it has to be reset, the currency system. During years of prosperity, it has to reset, right? So that assets will continually be bought at cheap price by the rich and wealthy, or by those people that have a financial education and understand financial literacy. So it's at this time that the rich and wealthy come in when the housing market crashed, like they did in 2008, and they purchased 4,000 houses at a time. I heard Robert Kiyosaki say that John D. Rockefeller had this famous quote that when the shoe shine boys started giving him financial advice about stocks, that's when he got out the stock market. And Robert Kiyosaki said people will come up to him and say, hey, Robert, I took your advice. I purchased a house to rent. And Robert Kiyosaki said that's when he knew to sell out of most of his rental houses, because you don't buy houses when they're 20, 30, and 40% overpriced to become a landlord. You purchase them while they're on sale. And he said that was his cue then to get out of real estate and start selling and getting the equity from much of his real estate investors, because he said he knew that people were buying residential homes at the top of the highest peak of the market, where houses were overpriced, that was his time to get out of the stock market. Get out of the real estate market. And so also some other things that she brought up, and I went on TikTok for myself. I just had to see this for myself, where military right now is posting up at banks. Military is in control, where they are at Bank of America already. They started June 14th. Why do you think this is happening? Because they're not going to allow people to get their money out of the banks. Let's click on this and watch this. I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
This is on Hollywood Boulevard, literally with the National Guard. Oh my fucking god, this is not...
Can you feel it coming in
I'm just heading down Hollywood Boulevard, everyone.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. So you have military that's posting up at banks. I also had this conversation this morning that, people think that your money in the bank is your money. It is not your money. It's not your money. Look, go to the bank and tell them you want to take out over $9,000, right? $10,000, and see how quick you get your cash. Most would tell you, well, we don't have that amount in reserves. They'll ask you a series of questions that they didn't ask you when you were depositing the money in the banks, right? They ask you, where do you work? How long you work there? What's your first, last, middle name? Everything. Then they may tell you, well, it will take 2 to 3 days or longer for this amount of money to transfer because we don't have it in our possession. And so what happens when the Fed coin launches in July, and what will happen for a lot of people who just unfortunately are uneducated or that do not want to take action after they get the information, is that your 401k is going to look like 201k. This is why we have a lot of people doing from 2008 that still have to work a job because, first of all, they didn't know that a crash was coming, right? They did not know that a crash was coming. And they didn't know that, hey, maybe I should take my money out of the 401k, or they knew and they didn't take action, right? And, or they felt like it would be a quick rebound. And they say, okay, I'll take a temporary, hit to my 401k. It'll come back. And, now they're working at 60, 70 plus years of age, right? At a job that they don't want to be at. They're not able to even enjoy their retirement because they didn't take action on information. They set back. They was not proactive. They was reactive. So let's look at the numbers, the black-white disparities. And as you all are coming in, because this is a live stream, I know a lot of you are going to tell me, well, Queen, right? When we see these numbers, you're going to say, well, Queen, obviously the game is rigged, right? The game is rigged. What can blacks do? It's obvious that, black people are overworked and underpaid. But we'll have that conversation. Let's look at this. So average earnings between these industries, they do vary by the race. So according to this data, full-time black workers earn about $963 a week, right? This is in the mining industry because I'm going to talk to you all about digital mining and crypto mining, the latter part of this live stream. While full-time workers earn about $1,788 a week, that means black workers in the industry makes 54 cents for every dollar earned by their white colleagues. Black workers make 66 cents for every dollar earned by their white colleagues, right? So you see the weekly wage for white workers, whether it's agriculture, which is $905. Then you look at black workers, $668, a $237 difference weekly, and then 26% difference. Now let's go into mining, right? By white workers, 1,788, which I mentioned. Black workers, 963. The difference, $825 a week. 46% difference. And then this goes on through construction and manufacturing, where you see time and time again. And this is March 2022 information, that the wealth gap is wide and has not remained unchanged in 50 years for black versus white, right? So between 2010 and 2013, the median net worth for black families saw another significant decrease of 23% to $14,400, while white families' net worth rebounded 2%. That means it went up to $155,800. Let me say that again for the people in the nosebleed seats, right? For the people in the back row. Black families saw a decrease of 23%. The medium net worth from 14,400, and white families rebounded. Theirs went up to six figures, 155,800. Now, from 2013 to 2016, the median net worth for Black families dramatically increased 27%. So that 3 year, it went up to from 14,400 to 18,200. But guess what? The white family, white wealth, medium net worth jumped 17% from 155,000 to now 181,900. Now, you may be telling me, Queen, with the numbers like that, with the disparity like that, it is no way that the Black-white wealth gap will ever be closed, right? It is discrimination, as you might say, at its finest. And you know what? I'm not going to dispute that, because one thing I can say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. But what I will say is that we are in an era, in an age where that wealth gap can significantly, greatly be decreased if the Black and brown community would take action on the biggest wealth transfer that this generation has ever experienced. So I have some books here that I'm going to read, that I'm going to share with you all, that I've read, right, that has helped me not play the blame game, but because when you get your money right, when you get your mindset right, people, you can get your money right. Let me say that again. And I know what happened to Black Wall Street. I know there was a group of Black entrepreneurs who were doing their own community, but people, now we have to take advantage of the new Black Wall Street, which is going to come through a wealth transfer of digital assets. It's like if you knew about AOL or Amazon or Apple during the internet era. Well, we are entering a technology era. We are entering digital money area. The old monetary system of physical cash and the dollar being a global reserve currency is coming to an end. The dollar is losing its purchasing power. Let me give you a history lesson that I gave my friend guy. We was on the phone. Is that because he's ex-military, this is how I broke it down to him as well. That up to 1971, the dollar was backed by gold, which means it was good as gold. On your dollar, cash money, it would have gold certificate like this. It would have gold certificate, right? It would look like this. This is what I teach the youth and I teach children about what real money is. So they never think that they have to say things like, you know, I got to hustle. I got to chase the dollar. No, no, no. I'm positioning you with knowledge and information and research and stats that will have money chasing you. This is what the silver certificate used to look like. One silver dollar. And so for the people that don't understand that, they don't know gold and silver, right? This is why I convert my cash into real money. Some people have worked all their lives and never held real money into their hand. Never held money into their hand, right? I convert my cash into real world assets. So in 1971, President Nixon came on during the Bonanza episode, right? My mother middle name is Bonanza. So I didn't watch the show, but it was very popular in the 70s. So in 1971, Tricky Dick Dixon came on and said, we are now not allowing other countries to bring the U.S. cash back and get the real gold. The United States do not have real money. Fort Knott is just a smokescreen. China and other countries right now have more, and this is why right? The Federal Reserve, this is why these banks, this is why Iraq, all of these countries are stacking up on real money, real wealth, gold. They're getting more gold. And so, because they know the wealth transfer is happening and gold and silver has to be used to reset this currency system. So he announced it because Spain was on its way on his warships to come. They had boatloads of US cash and said, we don't want this cash anymore. Cash is trash. We want the real money. And they were coming over, and President Nixon changed the law as they were coming to America, right? To get the real money in exchange for cash, because Spain provide America with wine and cheese. See, these other countries provide us with commodities. We're not producers of anything. And when Trump was president, he exposed this. Like them, love them, hate them, or whatever. He exposed this. He told you that the media tell you lies. Like them, love them, or hate them. But he told you this, right? And so he said, we're not producing anything. We need to make America great again. We are dependent on other countries for our crude oil. We are dependent on other countries for our agriculture, for our products. When you go to Walmart, you see everything made in China almost, right? We're not producing anything. And so I asked the question when I was learning this. I said, well, why didn't they come over on their war flight, or the plane or the jet ship, versus a ship that moves slower by water? And, they told me, because I learned this at the pawn shop. So the pawn shop dealer said, well, they couldn't fly the gold back if they came by jet or plane. I said, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? And so he changed it because in 1933, they had already taken real gold away from American citizens. During the Depression, they told American citizens, either you turn in the real gold, if we catch you with the real money, the real wealth, you're going to have $10,000 fine and or 10 years in jail. So they took the real money, and they never educated Americans about what real money was or is. And so everything right now is about supply and demand. So the more cash that they put out in the economy, whether it's through PPP loans, whether it's through stimulus checks, whether it's to raise the debt ceiling, which they just did at $32 trillion, the less valuable it becomes. And this is why getting positioned in crypto that's backed and linked to real world assets can set you up for financial wealth in this generation and the next generation to come. Right? This is why Bitcoin is Bitcoin. This is why Bitcoin is the king of crypto. I was talking to a lady yesterday. I was out at an outing for Father's Day, and her name was Miss Ruby. And I paid Miss Ruby through Cash App. I went and ordered from her business, and Miss Ruby can cook. Miss Ruby is a good cook. And so I said, Miss Ruby, I'm going to pay you. How much is it? So I sent it to her, and she looked at my Cash App, and it has LD Financial Coaching. And she said, baby, what do you do by finances? And I said, well, Miss Ruby, I used to do credit repair, and I still do teach about the importance of leveraging and using your credits to get assets and not liabilities. And that's a way that people can raise capital, right? So I teach them that they need to repair their credit and then use it to get assets. But I said, now I teach more about cryptocurrency. I said, the most popular cryptocurrency that you might have heard of is Bitcoin. She said, yeah, babe, I've heard of Bitcoin, but I'm afraid of that Bitcoin. I said, Miss Ruby, it's been around since 2009. What is it to be afraid of? She said, well, baby, I just don't quite understand it. I said, Miss Ruby, you have your business right here, and you are cashless. I said, you're not accepting cash for your food, are you, Miss Ruby? I got a chicken on a stick from Miss Ruby. She said, no. I said, Miss Ruby, Bitcoin is on Cash App. You can accept Bitcoin right now for this chicken versus me sending you, or you can take my cash and convert it into Bitcoin on your Cash App. And if you leave your money in there sitting untouched, Ms. Ruby, your money will work harder than you, and you won't have to sweat and fry this chicken. Ms. Ruby said, baby, take my number. I got Ms. Ruby's number. She said, give me a call. I need to learn about this crypto. I said, yes, ma'am, you do. And so this is my mining. I told you the wealth difference between the black and the whites. When it comes to mining, there's two different types of mining. It's digital mining in the metaverse, in the crypto world, and then it's physical mining, whether you're mining for commodities like gold, silver, or you're going in the ocean to get diamonds and pearls, right? It's digital mining and it's physical mining. This mining right here, you can do right from your phone, and it will produce continuity crypto cash flow, also known as perpetual income. Perpetual income is the gift that keeps on giving. Now, I know you may be looking at these numbers and saying, Queen, $33,534 is not a whole lot of money. Well, for me, it is, because I got started digitally mining these cryptocurrencies that are backed by real world commodities, right? As I explained to you, I gave you the short history lesson of what real wealth is. This is what most of the middle class and poor working class do not understand. They think cash is real money. No, cash is called fiat money, which is translated into fake money. It means it's a means that you can use to get the real world assets if you convert it into assets, if you buy assets. So I started Thanksgiving of last year. I was at home sick with the flu, had to be isolated. Someone gave me a call and said, Queen, I think you need to look into this. Right? I said, I'll look into it. I said, I'm, mainly for Bitcoin, Ethereum. Most people, hey, $25,000 of Bitcoin right now. You're not going to get a whole lot of growth on your money by putting cash into crypto, especially if you don't have 4 to 5 figures to invest in it. But you can invest in digital software mining licenses that you can do it right from your phone, a very eco-friendly way. Because Bitcoin miners, for example, they have to pay thousands and thousands of electrical bills, because that's how much electrical energy that is taken to mine Bitcoin. And so this is compound interest, and I'm getting total daily amount accumulated. Now, one of my famous quotes is, understanding compound interest. He who understands it earns it, and he who does not understand it pays it. Compound interest is when your money continues to make money, right? When your money continues to make money, when your money go find friends, when your money go and compound, okay? When your money is working even when you're asleep, or whether you're on the beach, or whether you're spending time with family, where you're not doing all the work. Let me show you the power, right, of mining cryptocurrency and having this information in the early stages, in the very early stages. Not when Bitcoin is at $25,000, right? Usually when the mass majority of people know about something, you've missed the boat. And this is why knowing information and getting in early and taking action and not wasting a day or two or a week or a month, because every day you waste is day that money is not being made. So if you would have got a Bitcoin at the beginning of May of 2011, Bitcoin was only $3.50. So this is for the people who always ask the question, what's going to be my return on investment? Right? What's going to be my return on investment? Let me tell you something. Cryptocurrency is such new right now that to know your return on investment, you need to be at least 10 years in, because it's volatile and it has not been fully converted over yet. So asking that question in crypto or even in the stock market lets me know that you need to improve and enhance your financial education and financial literacy, because you're getting things based off the value, not the US dollar price. As I've already told you, the US dollar price, the dollar is depreciating day after day after day anyway. So why would you want to base your wealth based off the dollar price, a depreciating asset? So what you want to do is accumulate. So if, for example, in May of 2011, $1,000 would have brought you 286 Bitcoin. See, the number you really need to look at is how many crypto tokens can I get for the cash? Because now 286 Bitcoins would be worth approximately $15.6 million. But what if a person in 2011 would have asked me, what's my return on investment? And I would tell them, I don't know. We're new to Bitcoin. Well, if you can't give me an ROI, I'm not going to get it. And look what you missed out on. 15.6 million for 286 Bitcoin, because at that time it was priced at $3.50. See, most people that live paycheck to paycheck, they know the price of everything and the value of nothing. Now let's look at Ethereum. 5 years ago, if you had $4,139 worth of Ethereum, and this is the key, if you left it untouched, that would be worth 1.25 million today. That's enough to support 50,000 in an annual living expenses, people, for the next 25 years. Now tell me where you can put your money that can get you for $1,000, 15.6 million, right? Or for $4,139, 1.25 million. Just I'll wait. Tell me where can that be? Where can that happen? Where they do that at? Nowhere. So I don't care if someone want to tell me. And listen, I help people with forex trading too, because some people need to find upfront money to invest for this and to put it into the crypto world. It's going to take time. You're going to have a learning curve to learn forex. And you know what? There's no such thing as not taking losses in forex. But if you put your money into blockchain technology, which I'm about to show you, if you put your money into cryptos that have commodities backing, because if it's not backed up, it's made up. I'm not on here to talk about getting more cash if you're not going to convert your cash into assets. Because you're not going to have a choice but to get more cash if you don't do that. Because why? Inflation going to drive prices up. And putting your cash into assets is going to outgrow inflation, where you don't always have to be, trying to flip a dollar. Or as I used to say when I was, playing as a child, you're not always trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. You can do that. Less stress and headaches, just parking your money and leaving it untouched. Cutting your millionaire date. So I told you I was going to give you some books, because a lot of people in the Black and brown community, they need to change their mindset. I've already shown you the numbers that the game is rigged against us. We know that. No need to go to the barbershop and debate it. No need to go to the salon and talk about it. No need to go to the church in the back pew and say, you know the wealth gap, how much they pay whites over blacks. You already know the game is rigged. So what do you have to do is learn the rules of the game, and you have to play the game. You have to participate. You have to stop making excuses and start executing. You have to stop trying to be the victim. Nobody cares about the victim. The victim just going to continue to get victimized. Nobody cares about your sob story. Nobody cares that you feel like someone have their foot on your neck. It's been like this for 50 years. My thing to you is, what are you going to do? Because cryptocurrency right now is the only place that I know. And let me say this, blue stock cryptos, not just these meme coins, these pump and dumps. It's the only place that you can put $1,000 and then become a millionaire. The only place you can put 4,139 and get 15.6 million. The only place, $1,000 and get 15.6 million. So notice when I brought out that Bitcoin, I brought out how many Bitcoins that it took, because too many people, right, when they don't have a financial foundation, they want to know, okay, if I put $1,000 in, how soon would I become a millionaire? Well, I can tell you quicker than if you do nothing. But the average millionaire takes about 15 years to make. It can very well cut your millionaire date in half, or even 2 to 5 years. But my thing is, stop asking like, if I put $4,000 or if I put 1,000. The point is, how many coins can you get, tokens? Because once it increases in value, the more tokens you have, the richer you can become. That's what matters, is how many do I have? Now how much I put in and how much I'm going to get back out. And then what matters even more is, what is the function? Most people don't even know the function of Bitcoin. They just know Bitcoin. They don't know the purpose of Bitcoin. They don't know what makes Bitcoin powerful. And let me tell you this real quick. What makes Bitcoin powerful is its supply and demand. That's called deflationary. Unlike the US dollar that would give people big tax refunds, that'll give people PPP loans by the thousand, stimulus checks, that is inflationary, meaning the more they pump out, the less you're going to be able to buy, the more you lose your purchasing power. That's inflationary. Deflationary means that the less tokens will be available. And people, next year, Bitcoin is going to cut its tokens that's going to be available for people to even be able to buy. That's why people don't use Bitcoin in the everyday world, because they know, if I buy this and hold it, as the value go past 100K, which it will in the future, the richer I become. You got to leave it untouched so it can get the compound interest. So nobody knows who created Bitcoin. It's called, Satoshi. The intellectual property of Bitcoin is what makes it valuable. Just like if you was purchasing fine art, the artist and the intellectual property to create that masterpiece is what makes it valuable. The same thing with Bitcoin, except it's in the digital world. It's what makes Rolls Royce valuable, because it's only a certain amount that will go into production. Right? We're talking about a finite versus infinite. Cash is infinite. So you want to look at cryptos that are finite, like Bitcoin, that are deflationary, that you can get in right now at a very low entry fee, which means you get more coins for your money. At $25,000 Bitcoin right now, unless you got 25K to buy one Bitcoin, that doesn't leave a whole lot on the table for you to profit off of. And so books I'm going to recommend and cryptos that I recommend if you are serious about the greatest wealth transfer that this generation has ever experienced, that you get in and you get in right away. So you can get in while you have a low entry fee for higher future gains. Why should white guys have all the fun? Reginald Lewis created a billion-dollar business empire. Crypto for My People, right? Definitely a great read for the Black and brown community, because you know the disparity of the income levels. Black Titan. This is A.G. Gaston, The Making of a Black American Millionaire, right? Also, watch, if you haven't read, on the first Black self-made millionaire, not just female, but Madam C.J. Walker. If not, watch the movie. Watch the Whitney Houston movie on Whitney Houston, and she talks about her contract having perpetual, right? That's another vocabulary. Financialists, you need to understand perpetual income, not just passive income, not just residual income, perpetual income. The singer Jason Weaver that sung Akuta Matata, his mother negotiated for him to have a perpetual contract from that song from Disney. Understand what perpetual income is: royalty income, residual, and passive, not just earned income where you're trading your time for money. See, this is what the rich and wealthy understand. They understand that my time is more valuable than money. So they don't trade a whole lot of their time for a little bit of money. It is easier, people, to make a lot of money in a short amount of time, right? It is easier to make a lot of money in a short amount of time than it is to make a little money in a long amount of time. It is easier. But this starts with your mindset. If you can go out and buy Jordans or Red Bottom or Louis Vuitton or Gucci, you can invest in these cryptos that gives you perpetual and residual income. Now, that's a mic drop. It's a mic drop. Poor working class only think their money is supposed to be spent. They don't invest it at all. And they feel like a 401k is an investment. No, a 401k is not an investment. In fact, the 401ks was created after the stock market crash in the 1930s because they needed a way for people to start back putting their money back on Wall Street and stock market, because people didn't trust it. And so, we'll do it through their jobs. We'll create a 401k. People, a 401k is not a retirement plan. It's not a retirement plan. It was a way to get people to get back into Wall Street. By the time you retire, that money is worth less and less. And that's why a lot of people get second jobs, even in retirement. They have to say, welcome to Walmart. But guess what? They're not even hiring for that anymore. You used to see a lot of senior, a lot of young senior citizens with those jobs. Those jobs are being replaced now through artificial intelligence and self-checkouts and things of that nature. They don't even have those jobs anymore for people that their retirement income is not enough. And the last book, The History of the Black Dollar, right? This is why I don't allow people who don't read as much as I read to come on my live streams and think they're going to bully me around and tell me about other investment revenues and other things you can do. I know what you can do. I'm a product of it. And what you're doing is not compounding interest, right? And every time you have to trade a lot of your time or you have to do an activity to get paid, I'm pushing you and exposing you to opportunities well beyond that. So now this is where, if you miss the Bitcoin at $3 or 1 cent, as we got this black gold crypto, it's up 12% on the day. Now, people, there's a fight for freedom sale right now. You can get some of these licenses that were regular priced at $2,500, $3,000 or higher. You can get $1,000 or $1,500 discount. That's over 50% off. This ends July 5th. It is saying fight for your freedom, get out of the government's monetary system that's going to keep you poor and broke and struggling financially, because you cannot outwork inflation. You can't beat the price of gas and groceries. Not if your money is not in things that's going to work for you while you're not working. So black gold is up 12%. We got digital link gold. People, if it's not backed up in the crypto world, it is made up. This is backed by real world commodities. As my mentor states, it makes no sense to have 100% of government's money and 0% of God's money. This is the debt. This is the utility token that's compared to Ethereum and BNB coin, because it will be upgraded next month in July to a layer 1 blockchain. That means it is the token that connects all of these commodities. So in essence, every commodity that I tell you about, this token has the backing of it. This token is the heart of it, because it has the blockchain technology, people. You need to understand AI, artificial intelligence, and blockchain technology. You're investing in the technology that's about to run the world. And it's only at $16. Ethereum is at $1,700 today. What if you would have got in Ethereum at $16? Because Ethereum is considered the brain of the world. The brain, the computer system. Imagine if you would have got Ethereum at $16 or knew about it. This is natural gas, as OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, is announcing. People, there's so much stuff going on in July when it comes to this monetary system, that if you're not woke, you're going to be broke. Let me say that again. There's so many things happening in July that if you are not woke, you're going to be broke. Natural gas, OPEC, Saudi Arabia is saying we're cutting our oil supply again by the millions. You got France and Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Russia, India, China that's dumping the US dollar. They're saying, well, you're not getting our precious commodities, and we taking on your cash that's worthless. And so people, if you're hoarding cash, let it be for your essential items. Other than that, anything other than that, you need to have it in real world assets. Grow up 12%. This is high yielding agriculture. Is backed by mangroves. I don't know about you all, but I live in the South, and we have been getting terrible weather, hailstorms, hurricane weather. This is what mangroves help the wind speed and the power they're planted along coastlines, and they increase the carbon or decrease the carbon dioxide, making the air more purer, right? Mangroves, you got cocaya plants, plant-based medication versus prescription-based. You have weed, hemp, all of this, rice, soybeans alone, $1 trillion industry. All of this, as we're going to have a shortage on food and agriculture. Now, if you've been to the grocery store and you've seen that your grocery store is fully stocked, then you should be grateful, because my grocery store, it looks scarcer and scarcer on the supplies of food. And every time you go shopping, people, you are buying into high yielding agriculture. In fact, we were just talking about the price of eggs 2 weeks ago. So you're purchasing wheat and bread and all that. So why not have your money into things that you use on a daily basis anyway, things that you understand? Natural gas, crude oil, black gold, Texas tea. People, black gold, petroleum has to be used to make fertilizer, where we get our crops from, not just in vehicles. Then you have XPLR. This is the satellite technology. Everything in this world, people, operates off of vibrations, whether you know it, you can feel it or see it or not. This table that I'm live streaming on, it is vibrating at a currency. The paper that you write on vibrates. The tree that's used to make the paper or the pencil you write with, it is all vibration all the time. All of the commodities, we vibrate. We have a frequency. And this is just a side note. Did you know that if you be thankful for one thing every day for at least 17 seconds, you can change your frequency from negative to positive? If you can just think of one thing every day, whether it's I'm breathing, I'm living, I have another day to make an impact on myself, my family, or the people I love, you can change your frequency. So this is the satellite technology that is launched out into space that scans the earth realm to find these commodities. Aluminum, this is 10,000 acres of bauxite of land in Ghana, right? If you're in the black and brown community, you use aluminum at every cookout, whether you got aluminum pans or aluminum cans, you know what I mean, that you drink out of. So you want things that are disposable, that have real use case, that we use on a daily basis, and that now can grow your money. Again, if it's not backed up by anything in the crypto world, it's made up. Beverage, this is a beverage industry for people that drink coffee and tea, which is the highest, especially in the South, sweet tea. Coffee drinkers, the biggest industry in the beverage, biggest seller. This is a $1 trillion industry. Energy drinks, water. They even have rainwater, right? Beverage company, beverage industry. This is blocks. This is commercial real estate up 7.45%. This is for the people that want, if you get rich in the metaverse, you get rich in the universe. Let me say that again. If you get rich in the metaverse, you get rich in the universe. So if you want to own real estate without having to deal with renters, rehab, renovations, then owning real estate in the metaverse will make you rich in the universe. And you get the royalties, people. I talked about royalty income from all of these projects. Royalty, getting paid in royalties by just owning the software license that do the work for you. Drip, this is providing clean water to third world countries and places in the United States like Mississippi and Flint, Michigan that did not have clean drinking water. It also helps find water pockets to help farmers and agriculture, have better crops during crop season, and providing clean, purity drinking water around the globe, around the world. And this is digital link gold. This is, you get the tokens, you mine, and you can retrieve or turn into tokens for the real physical gold. There is no other crypto that I know does that. That would give you the physical gold in return. And last one, data center mining, people. Right, data center mining. This is the uses of mining Bitcoin through natural gas that would have been disposed of. And so mining Bitcoin in a very eco-friendly way, because right now it's not, very eco-friendly to mine Bitcoin because of what it costs environmentally. To mining is very expensive. And so now this is using, this country is using volcano lava, for example. They're experimenting with that, but this opportunity has already done it. So because right now Bitcoin uses what's called renewable energy that could be used by other industry. There is a cost in electricity to do this, a waste in Bitcoin mining and specialized software. So that also makes Bitcoin less profitable as well for the average person, for the average Joe, because of the mining pools. And Bitcoin mining, whether you know this or not, really was more dominant in China. So now the use of fossil fuels, the use of um, natural gas, going green is going to make Bitcoin more sustainable. But what I really love about this too is that you get airdrops when you own this license, this DCM. You get airdrops of Bitcoin and other proof of work cryptos. Now, if you know anything about the difference between proof of work and proof of stake, staking is when you just get more of the cryptos by holding it for a longer period of time. But the proof of work cryptos over time has yielded a higher return or growth on your money. So they want to take out the environmental impact of Bitcoin. Because again, right now, Bitcoin is mined by millions of high-powered computers around the world. So they want cryptos that will power a decentralized internet and that will change the economics of banking, finance, even gaming, shopping, entertainment, and human interaction. Right. And so this DCM and people right now, DCM, all of these license, these standard license, they are perpetual. That means you get continuity income, people, for lifetime that will outlast you. The last thing there was that I'm going to share with you all, there was a young man, and again, this ends July the 5th. So aluminum blocks, $1,500 off, $2,000 off in some cases. XPLR and DCM, they're on sale for $1,500. Some of them are on sale for $1,000. You just have to text 331-444-5556. They also have some micro license. Micro means you get 1% of what the standard license do for as little as $500. But I tell people, if you have the money and you want to get the bang on your book, right, then getting the standard license, especially while they're on sale, will be a better return, a better profit for you in growing your cash before we just go completely cashless. So you can survive and not thrive during this recession that many are saying this is going to look like the 1930s depression. So if you're very futuristic minded, if you know your 401k is not going to survive in this, you want to be a part of cryptos that are backed by God's wealth, God's way. And you want to make sure that you are sustained and that the people that you love are sustained too, because people is not a matter of, like I shared earlier for you all maybe coming in later, the World Economic World Health Organization has already said that a bigger pandemic is coming. And how can they say that? Because they've already planned it. The question is, are you planning? The question is, are you planning? Are you being proactive? Are you only living paycheck to paycheck and you don't want to plan for the future? I'm ending with this, right? Did I mention this book too? This book is not even in print anymore, I don't think. It cost me over $100, but it was well worth it. Getting Black folks to sell. I've never heard so many people in the Black and brown community, I don't like selling. But you'll go out and tell people how good a Popeye's chicken sandwich is and get paid nothing. You'll go out and you'll put your J's on social media and get paid nothing for helping Michael Jordan become a billionaire. You'll go out and tell your friends and family how great a movie is and get paid nothing. So yeah, you do like sharing. You don't like to share things that's going to help people financially. Don't say I don't like telling people. Yeah, you tell people. You will go out and tell people about Friends and Family Day at church. And the church will pass the offering plate, and that will go to the pastor and to the church organization, and you get nothing. So don't say you don't like sharing things. You've just been taught and brainwashed not to do it when you can get financially rewarded. And there's nothing wrong with getting your brainwash if you're getting your brainwash in a positive way to get rid of negative thoughts. and limiting belief and getting rid of your BS, which is your belief system. And so with that being said, you all, I'm about to go and enjoy Father's Day with the number one dad in my life. But, you know, I was traveling yesterday, and I'm back here to do some things, and, you know, enjoyed it with my friend guy yesterday. But all I'm saying is, people, if you want perpetual income, residual income, you want to position your cash into creditable cryptos that are backed by real world commodities, and some of them are still pennies on the dollar, right? Text the number on the screen. That's my personal phone, my personal line. So I may or may not get back to you immediately. Do not text me at midnight or after banking hours. If it's dark outside, do not send a text, right? Pretty simple. But text me during daytime hours, and I get that information to get you started as soon as possible. Again, thank you for coming in. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Thanks for everyone that commented and participating. You all have a great, great Sunday, and an even better Father's Day to all of my fathers that are watching this around the world. And everyone, again, thank you all for tuning in and commenting. Queen out.